Julius Malema has dropped a bombshell in Parliament, and this time, his target isn't President Ramaphosa. It's the woman who runs the National Assembly itself. The EFF has filed a formal motion to remove Speaker Thoko Didiza from office, and the reasons behind it go straight to the heart of South Africa's first ever presidential impeachment process. On Friday, the 26th of June 2026, the Economic Freedom Fighters officially submitted a motion to Deputy Speaker Annelie Lotriet calling for the removal of National Assembly Speaker Thoko Didiza. The motion is filed in the name of EFF leader Julius Malema himself, and it's being treated as urgent. EFF National Chairperson and Parliamentary Chief Whip Nontando Noluchungu confirmed the tabling of the motion, saying the nature of the allegations against Didiza requires the matter to be handled as quickly as possible.
Now let's speak to EFF Treasurer General Omphile Maotwe. Omphile, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. The EFF has wasted no time to also try and put an end to this and have this matter finally see the light of day.
Thank you very much, Masa. Good evening to you and the viewers of Newsroom at Home. Once again, thanks for the opportunity for the EFF to present our position on the matter. Masa, you'll remember that the Speaker, when the independent panel report was debated back in Parliament, she was a member of Parliament and she voted against the panel report. Fast forward, the matter then came before her now from the Constitutional Court, and the Constitutional Court said to her she must refer the matter to the Impeachment Committee, which she has done. But subsequent to that, we saw Mr. Ramaphosa filing two applications. One for the review application of the report, but secondly, the interdict, to interdict the workings of the impeachment committee. Now, the report, the independent panel report, is a report of Parliament. And Parliament is an arm of the state, one of the three arms of the state. According to the Constitution, Section 42 of the Constitution, it says, National Assembly represents the people as a whole. And our duty as members of Parliament is to hold the executive accountable. Now, the Speaker, acting on behalf of the National Assembly, has reduced the National Assembly to be a PA to the executive, which we are not. And we're saying this because if you look at the impeachment committee, how the proceedings went, the chairperson of the impeachment committee, once he was seized with this matter, once he was cited in the court papers, he then called for the committee to hear their views. But on the other hand, he even went to seek legal opinion in terms of this very particular issue on how to move forward. The legal opinion for the impeachment committee came very clear to say you've got two options as the committee, to oppose or to abide. The overwhelming majority of the members of Parliament said we need to oppose this because this affects the work of this committee that we are all expected to execute a mandate. That legal opinion was strictly for the impeachment committee and not for the Speaker. We see the Speaker seeking a legal advice, which comes back and the report is tabled on the 18th of June that says you oppose. She had no other option but to oppose. The Speaker chose to abide, which is not a legal opinion that she sought. But when she realized that there was an outcry and an outrage, she now went to seek another legal opinion to qualify her decision. So it must be understood very clearly that the second legal opinion of the Speaker, which is from the former ANC Treasurer General, it was to qualify her decision to abide, which decision was not motivated by anything. So that we call dereliction of duty on the part of the Speaker. And we are saying this because the Speaker has just failed to protect, to uphold, to defend the integrity and the independence of Parliament, which is an arm of the state. The Speaker has chosen to take the party line. And what is the party line? The party line is to abide. Where do we get this from? If you go through the proceedings of the impeachment committee on that day, members of the ANC came with that narrative of saying, let's not oppose, let's allow the Speaker to be the one to deal with this matter. Us as the committee, let us abide. So it is clear that from the motivation by the ANC members of Parliament to say their party line is to abide. So the Speaker was defeated together with the ANC in the impeachment committee because the impeachment committee chose to oppose, and further to say we must write to the Speaker to tell her to join us in opposing this, because this is the panel report of Parliament, is no longer Judge Ngobo's report. And therefore, once a product of Parliament is under attack, therefore we need to defend that report. Now, the Speaker has completely derelicted her duties as a Speaker of Parliament. She has acted as if she's a member of the ANC, and this is an ANC matter, which is not. This is the matter of South Africa. That Parliament is the Parliament of all South Africans, and therefore she had an obligation and a responsibility to protect the integrity of Parliament, which she has failed to do.
The ANC's SG, Fikile Mbalula, when speaking about this, basically went on to say that, look, the Speaker has shown being neutral when it comes to this matter. You've mentioned instances of conflict of interest that lie here. Have you received any response from the Deputy Speaker for the official letter that you've written to her?
So, Mr. Fikile Mbalula is not a member of Parliament. He's a secretary of the ANC. And actually, him busy talking, he's actually confirming what we are saying as the EFF, that this is the party line. So the party line, they had a meeting as the NEC, they resolved to abide, to take the position of abiding. But unfortunately, no legal opinion supported their narrative or their decision. That's why the Speaker went out of her own to go and seek a justification of a report that has already been issued, which said to her, you must oppose. Now, the concern is that actually the Speaker is using public purse here, going around seeking legal opinions that are not even necessary. But anyway, to your question, we have not received any feedback from the Deputy Speaker. However, as the EFF, we've been consulting with other political parties. At the moment, almost all political parties agree with us. Obviously, they will still go and do table the matters with the leadership of their parties, and they will come back to us. But the overwhelming majority of the political parties that are sitting in Parliament are saying, look, there will be no justification for us to defend the Speaker in the manner that she has conducted herself. No loving members of Parliament who have taken an oath of Parliament to hold the executive accountable will actually fold their arms when the president of the country is now insulting the very constitution that we exist to defend and to protect. So I don't see how the ANC is going to get out of this. They don't have the majority in Parliament. We're lobbying everybody to make sure that we remove the current Speaker, because she has honestly gone against the mandate given by the people of South Africa by not defending the democracy and the independence and the integrity of Parliament.
And just to echo what you were mentioning there about Fikile Mbalula as well, and what his sentiments were from a party perspective as well, and that it goes to, as you say, prove your point that they are again closing rank. How does this then all end, Omphile? Because this matter has been in the courts for a while. It's dragging once again. And it seems that, as you're saying, you've garnered support from other political parties as well. The ANC has found themselves in a bit of a corner because they no longer have a majority as well. What's the next step? How do you foresee this impeachment committee being able to start its work without all these legalese taking place anytime soon?
Nothing is going to stop the impeachment committee. You know, the one thing that the ANC needs to learn is that they need to stomach the fact that they are no longer enjoying the majority in Parliament. Even the conduct of the Speaker she conducts herself with arrogance, with naivety of refusing to accept that actually we don't enjoy the majority. The least she could have done was to consult, even if it doesn't consult the entire Parliament, which, by the way, she is forced to do. Why couldn't she do what the chairperson of the impeachment committee did by calling all members of Parliament, get their views, and get the mandate from them? What stopped the Speaker from calling all party leaders in Parliament, of parties that are represented in Parliament, to say, we assist with this matter, what then do we do? Because clearly, she has not consulted anyone but her political party, which is the ANC, which is the only party that is now saying, let us actually abide. So the Speaker has failed to stomach the fact that they no longer have the majority, and therefore they can't just do things without even consulting. I don't even think they consulted their GNU partners in this case, because if they did, we wouldn't be seeing what we're seeing or what we saw in the impeachment committee. If you followed the last impeachment committee meeting that was held now on Wednesday, the DA was the first one to speak and say we condemn the conduct of the speaker for refusing to oppose the interdict of the president, but instead she chose to abide, which is not a legal opinion that she has found anyway. She can't rely on the legal opinion sought by the impeachment committee. She did her own her own legal opinion, which said oppose. But because it came to a different conclusion from what her mandate was from her party, she then quickly ran. And worse, you go to a former ANC Treasurer General. I mean, the people of South Africa are not really stupid, in all fairness. Why would you run to a person who is directly conflicted on this matter? Because the ANC is very clear, they're closing ranks, like you say, and they're saying we're going to protect our own. But our people of South Africa are not stupid. We are in the year of elections. If anything, the ANC should have taken advice, a counsel from their former president, Mbeki, who said, the ANC must not entangle themselves in this matter. Let the businessman go and answer for his business dealings and leave the ANC out of it. But what does the ANC do? No, they refuse to listen to the counsel of the elder. They choose to take the wrong thing. It is unprecedented that a report of parliament, which attacks the integrity of parliament, the speaker, who is the head of that institution, chooses to abide and not to oppose. The speaker has not abided by anything. The fuel levy case, she opposed. The VAT levy case, she opposed. Even now, we're dealing with the fuel levy case now, currently in court. She's opposing. So in this case, what stopped her from doing exactly what she always does, which is to oppose? But even if that was not the case, she's got a duty and a constitutional obligation to protect the integrity and the independence of Parliament. And once a report that is produced by Parliament is under attack, it's a no-brainer. She just has to defend it on behalf of the people of South Africa. She should have at least thought of the people of South Africa before thinking about her party in this case. And she has failed to do that. So in simpler terms, she failed to protect, to defend, and to protect the integrity and the independence of a state, an arm of the state, which is Parliament. And therefore, she must go and sit on the benches of the ANC, which is the party that deployed her to Parliament.
We've run out of time, but before I let you go, Omphile, just if you could give us an indication of when you can expect a response from the Deputy Speaker to your letter.
Look, the matter is urgent. We've asked the Deputy Speaker to act on this matter urgently. We understand that we are on recess as Parliament and we're only coming back in August, but we can't wait for August to have the Speaker because the committee is continuing. And the Speaker still has an opportunity to file an opposing affidavit, opposing papers in respect of the review application. Remember, this was the interdict. There's still a review application tabled by the president, which we want the speaker to oppose. And the deadline for it is the 7th of July. So we want the deputy speaker to act speedily, call for a special sitting of parliament. Let's remove the speaker. Let's get someone who is going to at least respect the constitution of this country and know that she is there or he is there to protect the people of South Africa and to hold the executive to account.
Omphile Maotwe, thank you so much for your time this evening. That is, of course, the EFF Treasurer General.
So what exactly is Malema accusing Didiza of? Let's break it down. Number 1. Failing to defend Parliament. The EFF argues that Didiza refused to oppose President Ramaphosa's urgent court application to interdict the work of the impeachment committee. This, they say, was a fundamental failure to protect Parliament's constitutional role. Number 2. Ignoring her own legal advice. According to the motion, Didiza's own office obtained legal advice recommending that Parliament oppose the litigation, and she ignored it. Number 3. Misleading the public. Malema claims the speaker misled South Africans by suggesting that legal advice obtained by the impeachment committee justified her decision not to oppose the application, when in fact that advice was sought for a completely different purpose. Number 4. Questionable legal appointments. The EFF alleges that Didiza made a major constitutional decision first and then sought legal opinion afterwards to justify it, and that the law firm she turned to has links to a former ANC Treasurer General, raising serious questions about impartiality. Number 5. Bypassing multi-party consultation. The motion argues that the Speaker made unilateral decisions on matters that required transparency and consultation across political parties. This all sits within the bigger picture of the ongoing Section 89 impeachment proceedings against President Cyril Ramaphosa over the Phala Phala farm scandal. The first time in South Africa's democratic history that a sitting president has faced a formal impeachment process. Earlier this week, Malema had already called for oversight of the impeachment process to be moved from Didiza's office to that of the Deputy Speaker, saying the Speaker was highly conflicted, pointing out that Didiza had previously voted against the Section 89 independent panel report, yet was still the one assembling a legal team to defend it. It's not just the EFF. Several opposition parties have criticized Didiza for her handling of the interdict matter, although Parliament spokesperson Moloto Motapo has maintained that the Speaker's affidavit was consistent with the impeachment committee's position. What happens next will be watched closely. If this motion gains traction, it could fundamentally shift the power dynamics inside Parliament at one of the most politically sensitive moments in post-apartheid South Africa. The question now is whether other parties will back the EFF's push, and whether Speaker Didiza will respond formally to the allegations leveled against her. We'll be tracking every development, so if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Speaker Didiza should go? Let's talk about it.